What's up, guys? It's your girl, Tymika with a Y, coming to you from the newest and hottest podcast, the Tymika with a Y podcast show. Now, listen, I know you're following us, right? I know you're following me. And if you're not following, baby, what is you doing? I'm going to need you to go and click all the like buttons. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you can stay connected because we got a lot going on. And on tonight, I'm actually going live on Facebook while I am recording this upcoming episode for the Tymika with a Y podcast show. Now listen, we got a lot to talk about on tonight. A whole lot to talk about. I definitely want, especially my Facebook listeners, you guys chime on in. Let's have this conversation. Let's talk about it. But before we get started, we got to give a huge shout out to Iyanu. Boom, right there, baby. Y'all already see it. Got to give a huge shout out to Iyanu. Completely organic, completely vegan, authentic growth. And what's the other name? Organic, baby. Iyanu Organics is 100% organic and vegan, and it definitely does what it needs to do. Y'all see this girl got them edges, right? If you see them edges is on point, yeah. If you are out of edges, I'm going to need you to go ahead on and get yourself some Iyanu Organics, okay? So for those that know, you know. For those that don't know, baby, do yourself a favor and go ahead on and send over your request to Iyanu Organics, and that is www.iyanu, I-Y-A-N-U, organics.com. Do yourself a favor and head on over there right now. Now, on today, I actually was supposed to have a guest on today, but the guest is late, so I said, you know what? Hey, time waits for no man. Hey, what's up? Go ahead. Hey, Mr. Sean, so glad that you're able to join on today. So listen, guys, I actually had an event to go to today, and I was cute, baby. I went and got me some new lashes. Honey, face beat to the gods. Do you hear me? Cuter than cute. Showed up and realized I was 24 hours late. Maybe your girl was late to an event because the event was yesterday. I was late. Do you hear me? So I said, well, while I'm still cute and while I still got all my little stuff all together, let me go ahead on and record an episode on today. So listen, we've been having a lot going on this week in the news and in the media, specifically with real women versus trans women. Ooh, I don't even know if I want to touch that topic right now. That is a lot going on, and a lot of people are not ready for that conversation. And as they say, real woman, as a woman. For me, womanhood is not something that you take on and take off. It is something that we deal with every single day of our lives, 24/7, from the moment we are born to the moment that we transition. Womanhood is just that. It is something that we take pride in, and it is something that we are. We are not cisgender. We are not real women. We are women, period. All right? There we go, and there we have it. Now, let's go ahead on and move on. Now, those of you that have already, you know a little bit about the podcast, we always do a segment called Gumbo, our Gumbo session. And in our Gumbo section, y'all know that I'm completely and 100% from the 504, New Orleans, Louisiana. Mr. Sean, go ahead on and hit that share button. Go ahead on tag a couple of people in so that they can join us on tonight. But listen, y'all know that your girl is from the 504, right? All day, every day. All right, taking over for the what? The 99 and the 2000. Amen. And that is right. Yes. All day. Now, y'all know we do our little Gumbo section. On our Gumbo section, we have a bunch of questions that we're going to ask. So guess what? Because I am my own guest on today, I'm going to go ahead on and ask my own self a question, right? All right. So I just pulled from the Gumbo. And my question is, if you had a warning label like a product, what would yours say? Honey, mine would say, stay away. Addiction is underway. Baby, let me tell you something, honey. Chocolate is an addiction. And if you are trying to recover, you do not want to come this way. I tell you today, baby, don't do yourself a favor. Don't you taste no chocolate. Baby, chocolate is something that you can never get rid of. You better ask Tracy Williams. Amen. All right, now. Now, while we're here, let's keep the party rolling. Let's keep the party going. Now, listen, a whole lot of people reached out to me, and a lot of people have been asking about coming on board, coming on the show to be a guest and all that kind of stuff. Now, listen, you already know your girl is a 504 girl, and if you know anything about the people from New Orleans, baby, we welcome all people, all races, all colors, all ethnicities, all religion. Baby, come on to the Pink Chair Conversations with some Pink Chair vibes, because this is where the party happens, right? Yes, it is. All right. So, like I said earlier, we were talking about, the some of the things that's been going on lately in the news, in trending topics. One of those things have been, the entire conversation about cisgender women, transgender women, and all the things in between. And so I did get a couple of people to reach out to me like, what you think, what you think, what you think. Now I try my best not to dibble and dabble in the politics of the world. However, like I said, I kind of already gave my 2 cents on how I feel about it. And that's it. If you haven't heard it, baby, just hit that rewind button and go do yourself a favor and just listen to it, right? Okay, great. Now, gotta give a huge shout out to Jackson, Mississippi. Tonight is the Jackson Film Festival Gala. Gotta give a huge shout out to my brother Maximus Wright and my sister Esther Young and all the people that are part of the Jackson Film Festival team. You guys are doing it big. You guys are doing it well. Congratulations and good luck. Everyone who has been nominated, everyone that is there, do yourself a favor. If you have never been to the Jackson Film Festival, do yourself a favor. In 2022, add that to your calendar. You do not want to miss being a part of the Jackson Film Festival. And if you are a filmmaker, you definitely want to submit your film to their film festival. Now, on tonight, what I want to talk about is, what do you do when your spouse or your significant other does not support your dreams? Now, child, let me tell y'all something. Okay, so y'all about to learn a little bit about me on tonight. Okay, I'm about to be 100% transparent, and we're gonna really talk about it. Okay, if my battery on my phone don't go dead. All right, so I was married. I got married umpteen years ago, my first marriage, and at the time, the guy that I was married to, now we cool now. Okay, we cool. At the time, that was a whole nother conversation, but we cool now. But my ex-husband, Derek, but y'all know him, and if you don't know him, don't worry about it. My ex-husband wasn't that supportive of, at the time, I was going into theater. I just started doing community theater. Those that know me, I love theater. Theater is literally the DNA in my veins, right? And so I love theater, and so I started utilizing theater as a space of therapy, as a space to evolve. And I got into theater, really passionate about it. It became that thing that gave me a reason to wake up. And so it also began to be that thing that caused ripple effects in my marriage. And so at the time, my ex-husband, we were married. My daughter, I had just had my daughter. I think she was like 1 year old. And I was like, I'm getting into theater. And he was like, what? Now, mind you, I've been in church my entire life. So my dad has a church. My ex-husband was the assistant pastor of our church. All right. So it was a church family, sing on the praise team, direct the choir, all of that. Your girl got a little tune up in that little thing right there. Okay. I got a little tune in my voice. All right. So yeah, so I was all in the choir, singing, praise, worship, all of that stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna do theater. And my ex-husband was like, well, how are you gonna do that? And so I was like, I don't know, but we're gonna figure this thing out. And so I decided to step away. Still going to church, still doing my thing, still singing on the praise team, directing the choir, all of that. But I knew that there was something in me that I was not in my purpose, right? And so I was like, I'm going to step away, really find my purpose in this space. And so I started doing theater, loved it. I mean, everything about it was it was magical. It was mystical. And it was something that made me feel as if I was serving the world properly. I found my passion and my purpose in it. And so, although I found my passion and my purpose in it, like I said, it started to cause a ripple effect in my marriage because, if you know anything about theater is, child, theater be doing some things, and everybody don't do theater right, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, you will get caught up easily in theater, right? And so, going to rehearsals 3-4 days a week, and coming home late, going to rehearsals, going to work, leaving work, picking my baby up from daycare, going to rehearsals. And I mean, this was a consistent thing literally for 3 years, and it became we hit a rough patch because my husband felt like, my ex-husband at the time felt like, oh, you're so focused on this that you forgot about me, or, you're so focused on this that you're not at the church, and you're not directing the choir, and you're not singing on the praise team. And it became we hit a really rough patch. And ultimately we broke up, thank God, but I will talk about that another day. But what I realized is that, man, I finally found something that I'm passionate about. I finally found something that I love to do that makes me feel alive. And my significant other looked at it more or less as, oh, you just don't have anything better to do. Maybe you're bored. Maybe you need something to do. And it became almost kryptonite to our marriage. And I'm asking him, hey, come to rehearsals with me. Hey, come to the show. And no, nothing, absolutely nothing. And so how do you, when you're in a relationship or in a marriage and your significant other chooses not to support you, it places you in a very difficult position, because now you feel like your wife and your family are in competition with your passion and your purpose, right? And that should never be. Competition is something that should never be in the midst of a marriage. But when you are on one side and your spouse is on the other side, and you're literally trying to figure out what matters the most, it becomes a competition. So now automatically your passion and purpose now has to compete, or your significant other feels as if they have to compete against what you love to do. So now it's, who do you love more? What do you love more? Do you love theater more than you love your significant other? Do you love your passion, your purpose more? Which one matters the most, right? And that is the question that we ended up having to face. Like, okay, it's me or it. It's me or it. And so ultimately I didn't have to choose, because his actions chose for us. Praise God and thank you, Jesus. But it could have easily come down to a point where I had to choose. Do I want my marriage? Do I want my career, right? Do I want my home, or do I want theater? And it became a struggle for me internally, because every single time I found myself going to rehearsals, I started feeling guilty. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, and so what I started doing, because one of the things for me was, I don't ever want him to feel like he's babysitting our daughter, right? So I'm like, boom, she's coming with me. Everywhere I go, I got a show, she right there in the back. If I'm at rehearsal, she's right there in the seats. If I have a table read, she's right there with me. And so I unknowingly began grooming her for the stage, right? But unknowingly, I did not know, unbeknownst to myself, that my ex-husband at the time felt as if he was in competition with my passion and purpose. And unfortunately, I found myself falling in love with theater and falling out of love with my husband at the time. And that in itself became very frustrating, because no one goes into a marriage expecting to fall out of love, right? No one goes into a marriage expecting for the marriage to end. No one does. And I found myself on this seesaw, teetering back and forth between being in love with my husband, but being in love with my passion and my purpose, right? And so the struggle between him and I, that struggle between him and I, it made it easier for me to fall in love with theater and fall out of love with him. I'm just being honest, and it probably sucks to say that, especially saying it out loud, but it made it easier, because now it was like, okay, I'm a person, I don't like arguing, right? So you argue with me, it makes it easier for me to walk away. I'm like, okay, cool, this is what you want to do? Cool, bye. And so it made it easier for me to step away from the marriage, because arguing is something that he wanted to do. And I'm like, yep, thank you. Good luck. Keep arguing, right? And so I found myself falling out of love with my husband and falling in love with the stage. And so everything I did was for the stage. I'm going to rehearsals. I'm leaving work early. I'm taking off from work. All these things, because I was so in love with theater that I was okay with falling out of love with my ex-husband at the time. Now, when you come into a relationship where you feel as if you are there's no support, right, for your significant other. Now that I'm married again, my husband is freaking amazing. Like, child, he's so amazing. He really is. Like, Tracy is like top notch, close to Jesus. I promise you. I told him one day, I said, "Are you sure you related to the Lord? Like, I know you must be related to the Lord. I know his DNA is running through your veins, because I have never in my life met someone so in tune with life, you know." And so when Tracy and I got together, and him and I, we were talking, and we had very honest conversations, like completely honest conversations. And I knew the mistakes that I made in my previous marriage, right? Now, my mistakes wasn't the reason why we broke up. We broke up because uh, he liked to dibble and dabble in other people's homes. If just read between the lines, okay? Yeah. Anyway, and so going into the relationship with Tracy, I told him up front. I said, "Listen, this is what I do, right? Theater is what I do. I'm a writer. I love writing. I love creating." It's so funny because we had a conversation today. Me and him kind of had we had a small disagreement, right? And I was explaining to him my mindset when it comes down to creating. So those that know me know that I create. I love creating. I love writing. I love, that's how Iyanu became Iyanu. Just in my lab, formulating different things, and I love creating. That is just every fiber of my being, like every cell, molecule is all about creating. And so I told Tracy, I said, "Let me explain something to you." I said, "You are a problem solver." Like, Tracy is a solutions master. He is masterful at developing solutions. Me, however, as a creator, I create problems, right? So I create, we're talking about, oh, let's do a show. Oh, let's do a movie. Oh, let's do a stage play. Oh, let's write a book. So I create, and he has to find a solution to help me get there, right? And so when we first started dating, I told him, we had that whole conversation about, what you do, what you like, what's your favorite color, blah, 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 blah. And I told him one day, once we got closer to knowing that we were going to be together, and we made the decision to make each other our life partner, right? And so I told him one day, I said, "Tracy," I said, "if it ever came down to me having to choose between what I love to do and my family will always come first." And I think that Tracy made that decision so easy for me because he supports everything that I do. Every single thing that I do, he supports. If I'm writing a book, he's like, "Okay, hey, you need me to find your editor." If I'm telling him, like, I'm writing a book now, he was like, he just sat there. He was like, "What's the name of the book?" He started working on the book cover. It's so important as creatives that we have support. We have supportive spouses, because being creatives is, I'm not going to say it's difficult, but it is challenging, because our brains are literally like, every day we wake up, we got an idea. Every single day. I told Tracy, I said, "I could drive by some daffodils, honey, and I'm going to have an idea about writing a book about daffodils," right? So every single thing that we do, we have a concept or an idea. And this is why it is so important as creatives, we have supportive spouses, supportive significant others, supportive partners, because anytime as a creative, when you feel stifled because of a partner or because of a significant other, it places us literally in a space of almost depression, right? Because you're not thriving. And as a creative, it's always like, there's always room to grow, there's always room to create, there's always room to do something. And this is why you have to have support. You have to have a support system. You have to have team members. You have to have a spouse or a significant other that understands the insanity of being a creative, right? Because it really is. Let's just be completely honest, right? We teeter on the border of insanity sometimes. I told Tracy once, I don't know if it's ADHD or what, But there's always something. Like I was driving today and I had to dial it back. I was like, it was an idea. I was like, oh, we could turn this into a movie. And I was like, oh, wait, pause, hold up. I got like 20 things already on my plate. And I have to remind myself to dial it back. But it's so refreshing to have someone on my team, in my home, in my heart, that understands who I am, that understands the insanity that comes with creating stuff, or understands why creativity is so important to me. And he not only understands why it's so important to me, but he creates a space, a safe space for me, a judgment-free zone, a space for me where I can filter through all of the craziness, and tap into what it is that I'm really supposed to be doing. And so if you are a creative, I encourage you to find a significant other that understands your plight as a creative, but also understands what comes with it. Because the worst thing that you can do as a creative is be in a relationship with someone who doesn't understand creativity, or not necessarily even understands creativity, but understands what comes with being a creative, right? Because it is not, honey, you got to be a special person to deal with people that loves to create every single time they wake up. They have a different idea every single time they wake up. So you have to have someone that loves you enough to create a space for you to be able to do what it is that you love. Whether you write, whether you act, whether you cut grass, whether you paint, whether you bake cakes or cookies or cupcakes, whatever it is so imperative that you find someone that understands what that means to you, and that they take it serious, and that they believe in you. Not only believe in you, but they work with you, and they're right there with you in the trenches. Trace told me this morning, he said, you filmed 5 projects and I have never been on one set. And I'm like, that's true. He was like, but I can't be on the set because I'm with the kids. And so there's never been a time where Tracy has ever said, oh, well, who you going to get to watch the kids? No, he's always right there with me. I mean, he's in the trenches with me. If I got to go somewhere, he's like, okay, I got the kids. What time you need to be there? Where do you need to go? What you need from me? And so it's so refreshing, and it is such a blessing to be able to have a significant other, a partner that understands what it means to be a creative. Because anytime that you're in a relationship as a creative and that person does not understand that, it places you in a very precarious situation. And ultimately, honestly, it can place you in a situation where your life is not, you're in an unbalanced life, right? And as a creative, balance is so important, because on this side of insanity, it's like all the wires, you have every single color, all the wires are tied up and tangled up and all in every space. And then on this side, you got to have someone that's the calm to your storm, right? You have to have someone that is the voice of reasoning, someone that brings you to reality, that reminds you, hey, there's a world down here. While you're up in cloud 9, there's a whole world right here. And so you have to have that voice of reasoning, or someone that can help you to understand, that can pull you out of that chaotic insanity that we call creating, and so it's so important. And so if you have someone, now listen, honey, if you got a spouse or a significant other that don't support you, turn this on. Don't you play this out loud, okay? But no, seriously though, if you do have a significant other that does not necessarily support you 100%, my suggestion to you is to sit down and hold a conversation with them. Number one, communication is, they always say communication is the best policy, right? Honesty is the best policy, but communication is the best policy. And then you help them to understand or find a space in your creativity that their passion and purpose can fit in, right? So Tracy, let's say, hypothetically speaking, but Tracy is a problem solver. He has a marketing company, he does illustrations, all that kind of stuff. Shout out to Vibranium Consultants. And so what I do is before I make a decision, I'm like, babe, I got an idea. So this is what I'm thinking. This is how I'm planning on doing it. And so Tracy, he'll sit down. He'll be like, okay, that's a great idea, but X, Y, Z, he got all, he'll check all the boxes and let me know. Okay. So I usher him into it. I don't make these decisions on my own. I bring him into everything that I do, and he's my voice of reason, because for me, I'm ready to do $100,000 stage play. And Tracy's like, okay, but you only got $3 in the bank. Okay. So, and so he's the one, he's okay, you got $3 in the bank, but this is how we can get to $100,000 in this amount of time, and we can connect with these people, talk to these people, and all that kind of stuff. And so my creativity also creates a safe space for his gifts and talents to thrive, right? And so it's about finding the space where your significant other fits. It's allowing them to understand that they matter. It's allowing them to understand that this is not just for me, this is for us. And because this is for us, I want you to be a part of it. I want you, I need you, I love you, right? So it's about making them feel comfortable even in the midst of your own creativity, and allowing them to understand that, hey, my creativity may be a little insane, but I need the calmness of your voice, right? I need the calmness of your touch. I need your voice of reasoning. I need your point of view. I need your insight. I need your advice. You make them feel like they are a part of it and they're not an island, because a lot of times as creatives, we get in our own bubble and we forget that there's a whole nother world out here. So you always want to make sure that your significant other, your spouse, your partner understands where they fit in all of the madness. Because let's be honest, honey, I don't want to know what it's like not to be with Tracy. Don't want to do it. Okay? Nope. Don't want to do it. I do not care. No. I do not want to know what life is like without Mr. Williams, right? And so because of that, I understand that I want to make sure that every single thing I do, he's a part of it. He has a voice in all of this. He helps me make the decisions. He helps me cast the people. He helps me find the images for the posters, and he's a part of it as 100% as I'm a part of it. He's 100% a part of it. And so it's making your partner and your significant other understand that they matter in this too, and that you need their voice and you need their insight and you need their point of view and their voice of reasoning in all of this. It's about making them understand that you are not by yourself and that they are needed. And that is how you overcome being in a relationship with someone who may not necessarily support you. Because a lot of times it's not that they don't support you, they don't know where they fit. And if you don't open up the door and allow them to understand where they fit, they're going to feel like they're on the outside. And you never want your partner to feel like they are alone or that they are by themselves. You always want to make sure that you incorporate your partner into everything you do. Because listen, we got with these people because we love them, right? And they got with us because they love us. And I'm telling you, the worst thing that you can do is lose your relationship over your passion and your purpose. It's not worth it. Now God tell you to walk away. Well, baby, I have no quorums with the master, right? But if this is the person that God has connected you with, then you want to make sure that you do all that you can to ensure that they are part of your purpose and they are a part of your passion and your vision, because you do not want to lose your relationship because of what you love to do, but you want to encourage them and invite them into what you do so that they can initially, they'll even be able to utilize their passion and purpose to help you get exactly where you're trying to go. All right, guys, that's all I got for you guys on today. This is your girl, Tymika with a Y, coming to you from the newest and hottest podcast show, the Tymika with a Y podcast show. Now listen, again, if you're not following me, baby, what is you doing? Go click that like button, click that subscribe button, and make sure that you're following your girl on all social media platforms. And if you do want to be a guest on this show, make sure you go to my website, www.iamtymika.com. Go ahead on and book your interview. You can, if you're in the Memphis area, you can do it in studio session with me, or we can do it virtually. Either way, honey, because what I heard was that COVID is still doing what COVID doing, and baby, we ain't trying to do that, right? All right, guys. So again, this is your girl Tymika with the Y. Listen, if we're gonna do this thing called life, we might as well do it well. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, tag, comment, and share. Do not forget, go hit up Iyanu Organics if you are looking for organic and vegan hair products. Definitely check out Iyanu Organics. All right, guys. I love you as always. Smooches. And deuces. Bye, guys. All right, guys. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Don't forget to like, tag, comment, and share. I love you guys. All right. Have a phenomenal